Welcome to another episode of the Art in Session podcast, where we dive into the world of creative professionals, offering inspiration, insights, and practical tools for artists at every stage of their journey. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, our conversations are here to support your growth, connect you with the community, and help you make a real impact with your art. Let's get into it.
Ready to get started? All right, let's take a few breaths together. We'll do just a really quick meditation to get grounded, get started, and move into this. So let's close our eyes and begin to breathe more consciously. Take a deep breath in through your nose, then exhale through your mouth. Let's do a couple more. Again, inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. And on the third breath, as you exhale, begin to visualize the root from the bottom of your spine. Take another breath and let this root go even deeper. It's reaching for the center of the earth. Keep breathing and keep feeling this root grow into the earth. Set the intention to ground and discharge any excess energy, any worries, any fears or stress. Let the root take that energy down to the earth so it can be grounded and transmuted. Let's take another really deep breath in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. And now visualize another root from the top of your crown, growing to the center of the cosmos. With each breath, it continues to get longer and stronger. And when you sense this root, feel yourself get nourishment, get energy, get ideas. And simmer in this feeling of groundedness, where whatever needs to go can leave, and any energy that needs to enter can enter your field. Really make note what it feels like in your body to feel this grounded and supported. Be open to any ideas and possibilities that are outside of your current scope of awareness. Allow any new ideas and possibilities enter your field. Take a couple more breaths. Continue to notice what it feels like in your body. And when you feel ready, begin to come back. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Gently open your eyes. And let's jump into this juicy session.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, my pleasure.
It felt so good to just sit still for a few minutes and be present with you guys. Session 3, monetizing your platforms. Probably the most valuable for those of us that are doing this as a profession of all the sessions.
Yeah, so we're just gonna jump right into some general marketing tips. And you wanna have 3 price points, thinking of low price points, your stickers and prints. Medium price points would be like merch, tapestries, limited edition prints. And then high price points is probably gonna be your originals and murals and commissions, stuff like that. You always want to keep your offerings simple, keep your website simple, keep your text copy simple, because when we're confused, we're always just like, never mind. If I don't know what I'm buying, if it's a stretch canvas, if it's a print, like how long it takes to get here, or like if there's at all any kind of confusion, it's very rare that we're actually like, going to reach out and ask questions. So like, try to make sure that everything is really simple and really obvious. Don't have too many options, especially on like print on demand websites. You can, create prints in every imaginable size. And when you have like too many choices, again, we're like, I don't know what I want. So we just like, never mind, I don't want to decide right now. So I usually only have like 1 or 2 sizes, like a smaller and a larger print, but instead of having like every imaginable. Create urgency. So when you're creating offerings, you want to give people an incentive to buy now. That's why people have limited time offers. I really like what Alexis Raccoon has done. She only opens her shop about once a month, and you never know when it will be. So her shop is only open about 3 days. And so she's always, she's promoting that, like letting people know, hey, next week the shop's open. While it's open, like the shop is open, closing soon. And then you don't know when the next time is going to be. So she's selling the same prints. Of course, she's adding some new ones and then removing some, but she's continuing to sell the same art, but there's only a limited amount of time when you can purchase. So people really jump on it instead of being like, oh yeah, I like this, I'll have to come back for it some other day. So creating some type of urgency, whether with limited editions or time limited offers, you really want to think about that. Follow up with any inquiries, anyone that's interested in commissions or prints, or even just making comments of like, asking questions about a certain piece. Sometimes people really just forget. So don't feel like you're being annoying or pushy, especially if you're just like, hey, just checking up. What were you thinking? Have you had a chance to think about it? Think about what makes you stand out, what makes your offerings unique, and how your product benefits your customer, whether it's a mural or artwork. So try to think about that language and lead with that in every offer. Don't be afraid to be repetitive. Just continue to mention the same offerings over and over again, especially if you have a plan and before you're going to be launching, while you're launching, and like right before you're done selling the product. You don't be afraid to repeat yourself. You cannot promote too much. No one is seeing every single post that you're making. People are coming on social media at different times of the day. So don't be afraid to be repetitive. Like, you want to push yourself to the point where it's past your comfort. Like, just keep talking about what you're doing, because I swear people forget, people don't know, people want reminders, because a lot of times we need to hear things several times before we actually commit to it. So you want to know your audience. We've talked about having an ideal customer avatar that includes their demographic, culture. You want to speak their language and speak directly to them when you are making your posts. Pay attention to the language that people are using to describe your art and your products, because a lot of times that might not be the words that you use, but a lot of us come from more technical backgrounds. So the way that other people describe your work and your products can actually be more commonly used and relate to people better. So just pay attention if you see certain words or certain phrases that people are constantly using to describe you, because that's what you want to use in your marketing copy. And always build relationships. It's all about building relationships. Keep in touch with your collectors. Check in with them. I like to send holiday cards. I keep addresses of all the people that buy my originals. So you always want to be on their minds. You can also just do like quick postcards and stuff. When you're releasing stuff, you can send them discount codes, stuff like that. Just keep up with the relationships. The people that have already bought your art are so much more likely to continue to support you.
For sure. So we've talked about engagement, but I just wanted to go over a couple of specifics. There's the obvious, the follows, likes, and saves. By doing this for other people, they're more likely to go back and do those things for you. When you're making comments, make a specific comment about the content, showing that you actually watched it or read the post. So I like to comment on, I love the colors that you used. That was an awesome video, especially the part when, and that little touch of personalization is going to like stand out to them and remind them when you share something that they should do the same thing for you. So there's a lot of people out there liking, commenting, but not that many people that are really going that extra mile to show that they have paid attention to your content. So doing that for others is huge. We can ask questions to stimulate engagement, ask questions about their work. Shares and repost. It's nice when you include a description of what you share, tell people why you're sharing it or why they should check it out. Sometimes I'm in a hurry. I don't always have time to do this. I'll just share something to my story, but it's really nice when I can be like, check out this new print drop by Serenity Meg. She just released these limited edition prints, so that way people that don't know her work that are seeing it in my newsfeed then have a specific idea of what it is that I'm sharing and what it is that she's offering. Also, when I'm sharing other people's work, my fan base might not have any idea who these people are. So just bridging that gap with a little bit of an intro or some more information when you share it is awesome. Always tag the account when sharing. We talked about that. This link will link back to people so they are notified that you shared it, and then they can reshare it, which also links back to you. So this goes back to relationship building and just being the kind of providing the kind of engagement that you want people to provide for you. The most successful marketer becomes a part of the lives of their followers. They follow back, they wish happy birthday, they handle problems their customers have with products or service. They grow their businesses and brands by involving themselves in their own communities. I think that's a huge takeaway for all of the sessions as we talk about engagement and building relationships. It's just to be that kind of marketer that you want people to be back for you. Again, we're moving through some of these kind of quickly. Just because we have a lot to cover today, but all of the examples that I'm going to show you in today's slideshow are going to be on the back end. They'll be available in the slides as well. So you'll have time to go back and read things. I just wanted to point out how Morphous Art replies to every single comment on his posts. And even if, they're not always the same, even if it's just a simple thank you or some emojis, he switches it up and he makes sure that he doesn't miss anybody. And that way it's not like, hey, I need that turtle blanket. And then you see, hit me back if you're interested. It's not only responding to the people that said they wanted to buy something.
So we're going to talk a little bit about live streams. I think that it's highly underrated opportunity to build relationships with your audience, but also make sales. And they're becoming more and more popular. So if you can get comfortable live streaming, I highly recommend it. They're really good for doing Q&As. You can receive tips on TikTok and reach an organic audience. And actually, Facebook just introduced a way to pay you as well. They call it stars. I just found this out this week doing research. You can actually make extra income, but it's also another way to live paint without leaving your house. So if you're just working for 10 hours or 5 hours in your studio, and you put a live stream on, people can actually pass by and ask you questions. It's the same thing as live painting at events, but you don't have to, do all the work and haul all your stuff everywhere. Like several times I've had people, see the beginning of the painting, the middle of the painting, they might stop by, ask a couple questions, scroll back, come back around. And then once they see the post of the finished painting, they've already created like an emotional attachment to it. They saw it from the start. They've asked me what it's about. And so they're much more likely to purchase. It can also be used for auctions in a virtual open studio. I see a lot of people doing sales through live streams on TikTok. I've seen someone do an auction or a raffle, actually. They were just selling tickets for $1 each, and they were live streaming as like the raffle entries were coming in, and it was like a really big, expensive painting, and she sold like 200 raffle entries and then did the final pulling on the live stream, choosing the winner and stuff like that. So live streaming, selling on live stream, I believe is going to be the future. Everything is kind of turning into like this QVC, like the shopping channel type thing where people are selling on live streams. People really want to see the experience of like you packaging the stuff. So there is definitely a lot of ways to utilize this. I know on TikTok, there's actually a way to have like the purchase button directly in your live stream so people can place orders as you're fulfilling them. So if you're doing things that are smaller, like an open studio tour or like selling stickers or showing off your prints or whatever, people can literally purchase and watch you package it as you're doing that. So that is something that is I really encourage you to see other people doing, but also think of ways that you can incorporate that into your own business.
Totally. I want to just comment on the packaging thing. I follow an artist that like has like packaging Sundays, and every Sunday they package up whatever orders they had for that week. And it's so personal because they'll be like, oh, this one's going to Michigan from Sarah. Thank you so much. And then you see how they package it and you see what that person purchased. And it's like, oh, I want you to package mine next Sunday. You know, it just builds hype around the experience of buying and then actually getting that little personalization and special.
Yeah, it's like a novelty thing. And I forgot to mention, it's a really good thing to do while you have a viral video, because a lot of people are seeing that video and then they can see that you're live. So they're going to hop on and get to know you. You can introduce and kind of like capture that audience quicker. So these are just quick requirements for live streaming. For some platforms, for TikTok, you need 1,000 followers, but for most of these, you can just hop on and live stream right away. On YouTube, you do need 1,000 subscribers to be able to do it from the app, but you could do it from the computer at any point. And Twitch is another live streaming app that is specifically for streaming, and people are very used to, you know, watching their certain people do certain things. Like there's video games, dancers, musicians, whatever. And it also has option to receive tips. So you can get paid for live painting essentially.
Totally. And I just want to point out, if you get really into live streaming, Twitch is a great place to stream to all of the platforms. So from your Twitch account, you can link your YouTube, your Instagram, your Facebook, and you can go live on all of the platforms at the same time. And you can also create custom backgrounds that include your payment information or whatever product you're featuring. There's a lot to be like a lot of resources from that platform if live streaming is your thing.
Yeah, and Lene said that she's been live streaming for the past 6 weeks every Sunday, and that's created a lot of interest in her work. And doing things consistently is really important. So if you have a set time and people know that every Sunday at this time they can come see you, that's a really good thing to do to keep that consistency going. So each week you're going to gain more and more and more momentum, and people will look forward to it and come back. So ideally, you would be making art and engaging the viewers where you're talking to them and reading the comments at the same time. But that is not necessary. There's plenty of times where I'm not even looking at the screen at all, and I'm working on a big piece, and that is just in the background, and people will still come through. So if you are not comfortable just speaking to the camera, don't worry about it, although that is how you will gain more audience and make more sales, and then have the Q&A aspect to it. But it's not necessary. Sometimes it's okay to just, you know, stream you working. People still want to see that. So you can set your camera up so you can read the comments and people can see what you're doing. If you're working on a smaller piece, you can, you know, be kind of like answering comments and engaging with the audience and doing a little bit of work or doing some touch-up pieces, and kind of just build that into your practice. You can use a second device for reading comments if it's not possible to like have the screen while you're filming. You can tune into your own live stream and see what people are saying. Once you get really big, you definitely want to have some moderators, because there's going to be people, you know, trolling or being inappropriate, stuff like that. So you want to have someone there to be able to kick people out and stuff, or mute them. And yeah, having a schedule will definitely increase your views. That's how the most successful people doing it. They have set hours and they're always streaming at the same time, and people know when to come and find them. And if you are the type of person that can, you know, complete a piece in one sitting, I highly recommend doing that for your live streams. And then at the end, you can, you know, auction it off or raffle it off or whatever. But people know that every single week at this time, they can, you know, have an opportunity to snag a piece.
I'll also point out that you can promote these live streams in advance if you know that you're going to be hosting and doing an auction. You want to tell people about it. TikTok allows you to create an event for your live stream, and then your followers will get notified and they can add that event to their calendar. So I'm following the trap violinist. He does this really awesome live jam session, and I didn't want to miss it. So I added it to my calendar. It allowed me to add it to my calendar on my device. And it's all just streamlined so people can get notified when you're doing that sort of thing. But you've got to let them know.
Yeah, I know YouTube has that option, and so does Instagram, where you can schedule events now. So I'm pretty sure Facebook does too. I haven't streamed on Facebook, but I definitely know you can schedule things on Instagram and YouTube as well.
There's a trigger
Yes.
for TikTok for going live and posting. So if you make a post and you go live within about 15 seconds of the time that you post the post, it will actually drive the algorithm to bring you in hundreds of followers or hundreds of people to see what's going on in your thing if you trigger it just right. I've done it quite a few times and had, just as a starting, low level account, 1,000 follower account, I had 900 people in my live because I made a really eye popping, popular sound video, one that I knew was going to hit right away. And then I had something going on that was very visually appealing, and I had music in the background that all the things added up to that algorithm just went, oh, there's something happening here. We need to send people to this. And if you trigger it that way, if you try, it's not a guarantee, it's still an algorithm, but that is one of the tricks, is to make a post and then within a very, very short period of time, go live immediately afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. That's a really, really good example of, having that viral video go and directing people there. So live streaming can give you a really amazing organic reach. And if you stay on and if you're engaging and people are commenting, it will definitely snowball and build momentum. But for the sake of the session, let's keep all the comments in the chat box for now, because we do have so much to cover. So we definitely want to make sure that we don't fall behind. So we can't push it to next week this time around. And the streams are recorded by the platform. I definitely know TikTok does, Instagram does, I'm sure YouTube does. Yeah, all the platforms record the live streams, and then you can download and edit them and cut them up and upload them to other platforms for sure. That's a really good question. So we're going to touch again on overcoming shyness, because it can feel extremely awkward in the beginning, talking to the camera by yourself, and people are watching you, but they're like not responding and being anonymous. So it just takes practice. Like, don't worry about it. Before you start, already come up with some questions, know what you want to talk about. You can just, comment on whatever you're doing, kind of narrate your own actions. You can, just speak about your thought process as you're creating the piece. Play some music. You can make comments, like I said, whatever you're doing. You can talk about what products you're using. And don't be discouraged in the beginning if there is low viewers, because sometimes it takes time to pick up momentum. Like, I wasn't using the platforms for a long time, and I have over 100,000 followers on TikTok. And when I got back on, there would be like 3 people on my stream, which is still, think of that. Like, that's 3 people. If there's 3 people in your studio, you wouldn't feel like that's nobody. Like, that's 3 people that are engaging and are curious about what you're doing. So yeah, don't worry about having large crowds. Just, be grateful for the people that are there. Or even if there's 0 viewers for a period of time, continue to stream, because people trickle in and trickle out. Like, not everyone watches a live stream for an hour, especially if you're just painting and not like, talking to them. But just be patient and consistent. Share what inspires you. Share about what inspired the piece that you're working on. Everybody wants to know, what is the meaning behind the piece, or why are you doing this? Have a list of questions to ask people that are joining, like, where are you coming from? Are you an artist? Stuff like that. So to keep the conversation going and to be more engaging. Know that you can end your live stream at any moment. So if you at all begin to feel uncomfortable or shy or whatever, you can just turn it off, and no one needs to know. It's okay to do that. You are in charge here. You don't need to respond or acknowledge rude people. You could just block them, mute them. Just imagine that you're on a video chat with a friend. Just make it casual. Don't overthink it. Remind yourself why you want the world to see your art. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you showing up online? It's totally worth it. And if you are really resistant to it, do it for just 10 minutes and just do an art tour of your sketchbook or what you're currently working on. So that way, you know what you're going to talk about. You know you're only going to be on for 10 minutes. Just get it out of the way and get it under your belt. And use this as an opportunity to promote your offering. So a lot of times going in, I will talk about something, whether it's a new print I released or if I have commission spots open. Don't be afraid to be repetitive, because it's like different people are coming in and out every few minutes. So you can continuously just bring that up. Be like, oh, by the way, if you like this painting I'm working on, you can commission your own, stuff like that. So like, don't be afraid to be repetitive, because yeah, the people that are watching your stream, it's different people every few minutes.
Totally. Trolls and negativity, it's just a natural part of social media. And I think it's what deters a lot of artists from putting themselves out there, especially in something like live streams. So you just got to remember to get ahead of it. If you already know that there's the potential out there, then what I try to do is just build some positive momentum around the experience before I even go live or make a post, you know, just knowing that my intentions are in the right place. They're going to be people that appreciate it. Definitely don't feed the trolls. Don't engage. I think that's where a lot of us go wrong, is we can take something personal and then we want to justify or explain, and it just perpetuates the issue. So you always want to keep it professional without taking it personal. I remember that this is my business and other people are watching how I respond to that negativity. And that response is a reflection of me and my business. So it's not the time to be taking something personal and to be going back and forth with somebody on a thread, especially not if it's going to make me look bad in the end. You can delete and hide comments like we've been saying this whole time. There's nothing that says you have to keep that on there. I'm not worried about somebody saying, oh, you deleted the comment. Yeah, it's my thread. That's my right. And then love and kindness always wins. That might seem obvious, but this is definitely the time to apply it, of just appreciating everybody, the good and the bad. Domé pointed out earlier that like once she started getting negative comments, that was a sign that she had made it, that she had like reached more people than ever, because there's people out there that don't like what she's doing, and that's okay. So just look at that as the next step.
I viewed it as a milestone. I'm like, this just means I am reaching more people and I'm having a wider audience. Like my work is paying off.
Absolutely.
So just also another quick point about protecting your platforms. The way to avoid getting hacked is to not open any links in your messages. You tap, tap, tap.
Yep. So.
Most apps, I know Instagram and TikTok definitely has the two-way authentication in your settings, where if you're logged out, they will send you a code to your cell phone in order to log back in. So it's not just hacking your password, you actually have to, receive the message to your device in order to do that. In your DMs, one of the most common scams, which is how most artists get locked out, is they'll get a message from one of their friends saying, can you help me out? I need you to click this link. Or they'll send you like a link to a video being like, is this you? Or you won't believe who died, or stuff like that. Like definitely never open, even if it's from a friend, because they probably got hacked themselves and you don't know that. A very common scam is you'll get emails and messages asking you if you want to get verified. Those are all a scam. And if you do get hacked, don't lose hope. I do know some people that had their accounts restored. It's not always easy, but if you keep being diligent and emailing the customer service, you can. I actually had my own account. I got locked out of TikTok because of a live stream. I showed a doll that had breasts. And so the robots just kicked me out and like banned me from TikTok forever. And I was like, no, this can't be it. So I found every email imaginable. I emailed them every single day, and eventually my account got restored, thank God. So don't lose hope. If you do get locked out, there might be a way to restore it. But be really safe, be really diligent, and do not click any random links, and do not share your password with anyone.
All right, guys, we're going to talk about calls to action. Sometimes all you have to do is ask, and there's a lot of times we're just sharing for the sake of sharing, but anytime you can convert this social media content into something else, it can be really valuable to you. So here's just some examples. Tag a friend if you like this painting, tag a friend if you've been to the beach, if this reminds you of some place that you've been, or like this post, just simply asking them to like it in the post. Ask a question. That's a great way to stimulate engagement. Choose between options is another good one. Which one do you like better, A or B? It could be like a swipe right in between two different paintings, for example, that they're looking at. The point is that it's going to get everyone that sees that to give you an answer. Rate this post. Write this from 1 to 10. Subscribe. Click save. That's one we don't often ask for, but that really helps the algorithm when a lot of people are saving your content. So just simply asking them to save it. And then of course, share this post, and then, you know, follow that up with some, share this post if this reminds you of a place you've been. Share this post if you resonate with this message. A lot of times it really just boils down to asking. Diversifying your offering is one of the most important things I could stress today. Not putting all of your eggs in one basket of just selling prints or just selling your originals or only relying on your content to perform is really important. So what are the different ways that you can be compensated for your art? We look at passive income, like what takes the least amount of effort to be able to collect from without having to create additional art. Art merchandise is one way. If you already have paintings that you can make into merchandise, those sales come in and you don't have to necessarily make more art. Content, we're going to talk about that more today, and we've talked about it a bit of how we can be getting paid from these different platforms for content that we're already making. And then licensing deals. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, but this is something that a lot of artists forget. There are tons of companies, businesses, brands that want to be able to utilize your artwork for a specified period of time, and they want to pay you every time they do that. And those agreements can be structured in a variety of different ways. I highly recommend checking out Maria Brophy, Brophy. She has several licensing courses, has taught me a lot of what I know, and also helped me set up my first licensing deal last year, which was awesome. So that's a way to get paid for your art that you already have out there. And then there's active income. This is where you actively have to be making art profit. That's things like commissions, murals, consulting. If you're really good in your craft or you specialize in something, curating, creating opportunities for artists, galleries, events, and then teaching, you know, those skills other people want to learn from, just like you guys are taking this class, you could possibly offer something similar. So I personally make money from all of these different ways, both passive and active, and I don't rely on any single income source to fully front the bill. Okay, Facebook right now is where I'm making the most of my money.
Art in Session is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to provide professional and educational opportunities to creatives. Thanks to support from our listeners, we are able to keep this mission going. If you are enjoying this podcast, please consider donating at www.artinsession.org.
So I'm going to dive deep into Facebook groups and move kind of quickly, but feel free to drop in the chat if you have any questions. We touched a little bit on the differences between a fan page and a group, but a fan page is your public page and a group can be private. Think of your group as a community and your fan page as a profile. The fan page is like anybody on Facebook can go and find you there. They don't have to opt in. They don't have to join your group. You can also direct message people from a fan page. So as people are commenting on your posts that come through your page, there's the option to direct message that person, even if you're not connected with them on Facebook and you don't have that option in your group. Groups are much better for promoting discussions and encouraging engagement in the community. So if you have a lot of people that are collecting your art or interested, then having a group where they can talk about it, where you can be promoting upcoming drops, for example, and people that are excited about that stuff can engage with each other as it relates to your art. Your fan page is going to be better for SEO, but your group is better for organic reach with your content. Those people that have joined your group are already appreciate your work, so they're more likely to engage. But if somebody were just searching you on Google, for example, your fan page is going to show up in those search results. Facebook also allows you to join other groups as your fan page. And even if a group has like very specific rules about promoting or self-promotion, you can make a post as your fan page and not ever have to say, follow me here or promote yourself in any way. You're just utilizing that as your profile that's sharing that content. And even groups that don't allow fan pages to join, they may still let you see the content and then you can like it. They won't let you comment on it or engage in any other way. But for example, I may make a post in a private group from my personal Ania Amador art or Ania Amador page. And then I'll go to Ania Amador art and go back to that post and I'll like all the comments. So even though I don't say anything, they get a notification that my art page has liked it. You should have both to accomplish these goals. Even if you're not building out a group right away, getting started, establishing an art group. I personally have art groups for my side project, Anamorphosis Art, for my deliberate creation practice, and for art in session, but I haven't created one yet for my personal art. And that's something I'll be doing in light of this discussion, because I think it's really important to at least get started now and be able to build that out over time. And if you're creating content already for your fan page, you can sync your fan page and your group together and then make posts as one and the other and kind of streamline everything with the same amount of effort that you're already doing to post on your fan page. So I know that's a lot, but the big takeaway is that both are really valuable, and Facebook is such a great way to generate leads. This is where I'm finding the majority of my leads for art sales as well as mural commissions. So here's the rundown. You want to join special interest in location-based Facebook groups. An example of a special interest group might be psychedelic art, for example. And then a location-based would be Tampa residents or Colorado residents. There's tons of groups that are right in your area and in surrounding areas that would be beneficial for you to join. Upon joining the group, you want to read the rules. A lot of groups have very strict rules against self-promotion, and there's ways around that we're going to talk about, but being aware of those rules helps you not to break them. So I join the group, I read the rules, and then I search keywords and scope out the current content. So for me, if I'm looking for mural leads, I'm going to go to my location-based group. I'm going to search murals. I'm going to see all the residents nearby that are looking for murals. I'm going to read those comments, see how other people are responding. And then I'm going to also look at the people posting their work and check out those artists and see, what their approach has been, what's been successful. You would be surprised, without even having to say anything or post anything, that you can go to these groups and just use the search to find exactly what you're looking for. Then you want to establish your presence through engagement. I don't just join a group and start selling stuff. I'm commenting on other people's posts. I'm getting to know the climate and just participating. That goes back to what we talked about before, liking, commenting with specific information about the post, so it shows that I'm actually engaged. Making an intro post is a great way to show who you are, kind of get your feet wet in there, let people, without selling, right? It's just, my name is Ania. I've lived in this neighborhood for 5 years. I'm really excited to be here and share my art with you, and maybe one picture of your art or something, or you with your art. So that way you're making it personal, letting people know who you are. Then it's the time to share your work. Before even asking like, hey, I've got some murals open, I'll just show a bunch of my murals and say, this is what I do. And then more times than not, I have a bunch of comments of people saying, hey, come do that at my house. Networking with other members in the group in related industries can be very helpful, because I'm not always around to see those posts, but because I've teamed up with real estate agents or reached out to other related industries, those people are tagging me in the mural posts because they know that's what I do. So just paying attention to who's posting and thinking, wow, is that somebody that down the line I might be able to network with in some way? Or do they have clients that might be interested in my services, etc.? And how can I build a relationship with those people so they've got my back when they see those leads in the newsfeed? A lot of groups will ask you to just give more than you take. And I think that that's a good general rule with any of these communities, is to provide some sort of value beyond you just selling your art. But it totally pays out. Like I said, I'm producing, I would say 80% of all of my art leads are coming from Facebook right now. When it comes to converting leads, you're going to do that in 3 stages. The first, should be a 1, is intake. You're going to show your appreciation for their interest. Every time somebody comments, before I even tell them where they can buy or what to do next, I say, thank you so much for appreciating my art. I want everyone that's reading that to also feel the sense of gratitude that I have beyond just the sales. And then provide a direct link to your intake form or product. A lot of times I'll say, I'll DM you if it's on Instagram and they can't click links, or right there in the comment on Facebook, I'll post the link, not just to my website or my link tree, but if they're asking about my elephant blankets, then I'm sending them right to that product. So there's minimal amount of steps to be able to get to their end goal. And you want to take all the work out of it for them. 2 is to process the request. I like to respond via email and always keep correspondence in writing. Sometimes I have lengthy conversations back and forth, especially when it comes to murals. And I just want to make sure everything we've discussed about a project or a sale is right there in writing. And then I collect any additional information about the project at that time as well, whatever it's going to take to get me to the next step of closing that sale. And then follow up, check in with the calls to action. Like, oh, I'm just wondering if you've made a decision yet. Here's that link if you wanted to make that purchase, or please let me know if you'd like to put a deposit down. I'd love to get you on the calendar for my next mural spot. Just always reminding people that there's a next step. They've got to take it and they need that reminder from you. And then also, even on leads that don't seem like they're going to convert into a sale, I always direct them back to my socials, because each person that shows any interest in your art is a potential lead for the future. So I want to remind them, oh, I'm not interested in this time. No problem. Well, listen, sign up for my email list, because I'll be sending out some special deals in the next couple of months and you may want to take advantage of that. So just always directing them back to your email list or to your socials. I'm going to go into a bunch of different types of promotions. All of these have worked for me for selling art online, but they all have specifications that are different. So running weekly or monthly promos is a great way to stimulate engagement and sales. Here's some examples of a few. Giveaways. This allows you to incentivize calls to action, right? So like my page and enter this giveaway. Subscribe to my email list, enter this giveaway. Raffles and waffles. We're going to talk in detail about these, but it's a low cost way to support your art. Some people don't want to spend a lot of money, but they want to support you. Auctions allow the market to dictate the price, which is really fun. I've had paintings sell in auctions for way more than I would have even sold them for if somebody just hit me up directly, which is really exciting and showed me that like the market values my art a lot more than even I did in that case. Discounts and deals allow you to incentivize the purchase decision. That can be really powerful in some cases. Contests, that's where competition drives the engagement. And then planned drops, effective way to release new work and merchandise. And we're going to talk about each of these in detail. So if you're writing this stuff down, don't worry. So let's go into giveaways. The main objective with the giveaway is to build your audience. You can also incentivize the calls to action. Like I said, subscribe to our mailing list to enter to win. People, one, they really like games and just like engaging in general. And then they also like winning free stuff. Who doesn't? So anytime you can say, hey, I want you to do this thing, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to win this thing, it just makes it more fun. Don't make the entry too complicated. If the people have to go through a bunch of steps, you have to like 5 pages, share this to my story, go here, go there, do this, they're going to drop out or not follow through. So keeping the barrier to entry as simple as possible, but as effective as possible for you. So maybe choose one call to action, like not like me and subscribe and share. Maybe it's just subscribe to my mailing list this time. And that's where they just have to do one thing. Because too many steps, again, is that barrier to participating. Here's a really good example of a giveaway. And the takeaway here, if you look on the post, so I do have 3 steps to follow these accounts. I guess like, share, and save is kind of like several steps in one, but as long as they do one, I'm usually pretty cool with that. And then the most important is to tag a friend that would appreciate this painting. Each tag needs to be in a separate comment to be eligible. So now it's encouraging multiple comments on the post. and increasing the amount of engagement. Always with a giveaway, you want to tell them what they're going to be winning, how long the giveaway will be running, and when you'll be making that announcement. I have a lot of people come back at that date and time because they want to know if they won. The other thing I'll mention here is that multiple prizes really helps incentivize the process as well. So I'll say I'm doing a giveaway. The grand prize is going to be this tapestry. Second place is going to win 2 mystery prints. Third place is going to win a sticker pack. Now, instead of it being like, oh, I'm never going to win this one thing, it's like, oh, I've got 3 chances to win something. Feel free to hop in the chat with any questions about these promotions as we go through, but I've got a lot of them, so I'm going to keep it moving. Raffles. Your duration on your raffle should be about 4 to 5 days. You want to leave plenty of time for you to promote it and get the word out there. But with all of these promotions, they're like cars. You have to drive them or they don't move. So you don't want to have to be talking about the same thing weeks later. If somebody enters something on Monday, they kind of want to know by Friday if they won. So I recommend a 4 to 5 day duration on raffles. Like I just said, multiple winners with any of these things is really helpful. Especially, giveaway, they're not paying, but if they've paid you something, then knowing that they have a better chance of winning something is great. This is a great low price point. I do usually $5 per ticket, 3 for 10 or 7 for 20. And sometimes people just want to give you $5, but if you don't have like a donation option or really want to have to ask for that, they don't want to offer to send you $5 because it doesn't seem like a lot to them, but that definitely adds up. And this creates an opportunity for people to support you in that way at that price point without needing anything in return. Your raffle price should be at least $100. I'm not going to pay someone $5 to win something unless it's like going to be worth at least $100, like in value back. Of course, there's the support aspect, but I think you really have to incentivize with good prizes with all of these different things, or it just doesn't make sense. Venmo, PayPal, Zelle, these platforms don't like raffles because people could essentially say they never got it and just be reporting, back. So I always have a code phrase. Like if you look at the example here, I actually don't have it on here. Like it would be like send PayPal payment to Anamorphs to start, use code phrase sea turtle. Or use code phrase time is an illusion or something, have it related to the art, but definitely don't tell them to put raffle in the comments. Again, multiple winners. I don't know how we have some repeats here. There's no entry limit, and that allows for the greater potential for profit on these raffles. As many people that wants to enter can. It allows people to support you without having to buy art. People just don't have wall space sometimes. And then what I like to do is like buy one item and get one entry. So I'll use a raffle to help support another product launch. Like I might say, buy a sticker pack and get one entry to win this canvas print. So that way everybody that's entering is getting something. And maybe that looks more like a $15 sticker pack. And then they're also getting access to win something bigger, but it just helps like incentivize that purchase decision a little bit further by knowing they may also win this other cool prize. And I also feel like sometimes raffles feel like gambling, and I wouldn't be comfortable accepting any more than like $5 or $10 from somebody and not giving them anything in return, or just for the chance to win, because a lot of people, that can be very addicting. So just change the energy behind that. I've tried this a lot where I give everybody something for their entry, and then they also get that chance to win. Couple examples about raffles. Again, it's a possibility of winning something valuable for a low cost. You want to engage clients by hyping up daily on social media. Don't forget, the raffle's still open till the end. You've got 3 days left to get in this raffle. We've got 3 winners. First prize is getting a canvas print, second poster pack, sticker packs, etc. Reminding people of what the prizes are and when those deadlines are. So when I'm picking the raffle winner, I'll make an announcement post. I'll make a video picking the winner, and that shows transparency and fairness. There's a lot of apps actually, which I didn't talk about on the giveaways. So let me mention it now. There's an app called Giveaway Picker, which allows you to copy the link to your giveaway post it in the app, and then it scrolls through all of the entries in the comments and chooses a winner and a runner-up. And it also allows you to screen record that process. So what I'll do for my giveaways is I use Giveaway Picker. I'll record the process of choosing the winner, and then I'll repost that video as how I chose the winner for that giveaway. For my raffles, it can get a little more complicated. There are definitely apps that you can use, but I like the personal aspect of choosing a name out of a container and doing that live. So I'll type out a list of all of the entries, and then I'll, cut those entries into strips, fold all the strips, put them into a container that people can see that I'm closing my eyes, I'm putting my hand in, shaking it around, and I'm pulling out that winner. I don't usually do this live just because, anything could happen. I like to make a video and then repost that video, and that still works fine for me. You could also do a live stream, which I'm sure people would love. There are other ways to choose a winner, but again, I personally like doing it manually and getting to engage my audience like that. And it feels a lot more like a real raffle would if you were at an event or something that you had entered. Let me see your show of hands if you've heard of a waffle. All right, well, a waffle is very similar to a raffle, except that it's a set number of entries. So instead of anybody can enter, I've got 15 spots, for example, at a certain price, and there's going to be X amount of winners. The benefit to this is that there's a better chance of winning for each entry, and that people know what the odds are already. Instead of it just being a gamble, depending on how many people entered a waffle, I can tell people you've got a 1 in 15 chance of winning the prize. Again, I can do multiple winners. And with something like this, you want to make sure that you cover all of your costs. So in the example I've had here, we gave away a tapestry, 2 prints and stickers, and a large sticker pack. So I know I'm going to have to account for the cost of the tapestry, the cost of the prints and the tubes to ship that out, and the stickers. And then for the third place, the stickers. And let's see, 15 and 15 is 225. So I know that all of the money I'm going to collect at $15 each at 15 spots is going to be $225. And that's going to more than cover the cost of all of the items that I'm giving away and all of the shipping costs for that. The other thing I'll do with waffles is in my official post, I'll put numbers 1 through 15 and leave them blank. And then as people start to sign up, I will go and add their name here. And sometimes I'll let them choose their number. You have people that have favorite numbers and they want to see what that is. But the benefit of having the numbers listed out in your post is that people can see, okay, 5 people have signed up. I want to get this thing going. I'm going to sign up. Or they can actually see the other names. It just makes it like very personable and like real life scenario. These are other art supporters. We're all in this together. Now one of us is going to win this thing, or 3 of us. Another thing I'll mention about waffles is that I've set up a waffle on the back end as a product on my website. Instead of having multiple people send me different payments from all the platforms for this, I'll just have 15 products available for the waffle on my website. Everybody that purchases it, it'll give me their address, all the information I need, and then keeps it all like it would just a normal order in the back end. Does that make sense? As to why you might want to make a product instead of just having all the payments come in. Waffles are another example where I like to give everybody something. I might say everybody that enters this waffle, like I've done it for big originals where the price was like $50 to enter per person, and there were 10 or even 15 spots at that price point, which is a little bit harder to fill. But if you make it to where everybody gets something, like I wouldn't be comfortable being like, roll the dice with $50, but I would be comfortable saying, you're going to get this signed print of the original that I'm waffling off, and you're going to get the chance to win the original for $50. So it's essentially like selling the 15 prints, but then also moving that original at a higher price point. So I know this is a lot of information. I'm happy to answer questions about these specifically later, but I just wanted to give you guys some examples of these promotions that I've personally used And then all of these examples will be in the back end as well. One other point I'll make about these is that I shared pictures of what the prizes are. So like there's the tapestry, here's the prints that 2 of which they'll get to choose from. Here's what the sticker packs look like. And then the time frame for these is based on participation. So it could be open for a week or it could be open for a couple of days. It depends on how many people sign up and how quickly. And sometimes I'll also let people buy more than one spot. All right, we're moving on to auctions. How many people have done auctions? Anyone? All right. I like to host my auctions on 2 platforms only. It gets really confusing if you've got bids coming in all over the place. So I do Facebook and Instagram. And when bids come in on Facebook, I update them on Instagram. You always want to be mindful of like the timing of when you're posting it, the time zones, and the time of the week, because you want to get the most reach as possible, especially when you're doing shorter flash auctions where not everybody may have heard about it. So this is where promoting beforehand, during is really important. And also when consistency, if you're doing weekly auctions or monthly auctions and people know to expect that on this first Monday of every month, you're going to do an auction, they'll come back for that. It only takes 2 people with an auction to participate. If 2 people really want your painting, then they're going to bid for it and they can drive that price up. I like to set a reserve for my auctions. It can be public or private. If it's public, that means I say must meet the minimum reserve of X amount, or I'm not obligated to sell, or I could just say that it's a private reserve. And if the reserve is not met, then I'm not obligated to sell. So you want to consider what's the minimum amount that you're willing to accept and have that amount already established before going into your auction. Your minimum bid, I like to keep mine pretty low so that I can keep the engagement going throughout the auction. People will still bid way more than the minimum bid, but it's fun when the minimum bid is only $5 or $10, and then they can just drive the price up by consistent engagement. Adding add-ons for reaching price points is another way to help drive the price up. You can see in the example here we have from the Morphous Art auction that if it reached $888, he would design a free blanket. $900, you got a t-shirt. So like, this is like, okay, I want to get it to the next level because I'm also going to win all of this other great stuff. The duration of your auction is really important. I see people running these auctions for several like days or weeks, and that doesn't make sense because people will forget about it. Once they place the bid, if it's like longer than a couple of days, I found that they die off and they're not as actively engaged. So for me, the most effective duration for an auction is like 1 or 2 days. I'll start an auction on a Wednesday and then it ends Tuesday night. So like 24-hour, 48 hours max. And that gives me enough time to drive the promotion the entire time, because it's going to require me to be engaged all day long. Every time a comment comes in on that post, I have to respond to that comment and then make another comment reiterating where the bid is at, because people will come back to that post and they want to see where it's at. So I want to make it as easy as possible through the comment section for people to be able to follow along and jump in at any time. So flash auctions are the best. You always want to tell when it ends, obviously, in your post. So when you guys come back and look at these examples, all of the elements that I'm pointing out here, you're going to be able to identify in the example post. Payment options, winner must be credit card, PayPal, Venmo, or cryptocurrency ready within 24 hours. You got to give people the parameters. I also accept payment arrangements, at which time I'll take a large deposit on the original from the winner and just let them pay that off. Back to maintaining the auction, keeping up with the comments, continuing to share it, and always driving the traffic back to the original auction post. So if I'm posted on Tuesday, then Wednesday, maybe I'm posting the time lapse and I'm saying, hey guys, check out this process of the painting that's up for auction right now on my page. Go back to the post before this to place your bid. You don't want bids coming in on multiple posts. It can get very confusing. What I'll do, since I'm hosting it on 2 platforms, is if I get a bid that came in on Facebook, I'll go over to Instagram and be like, highest bid just came in on Instagram or Facebook by so-and-so. I always say their name, so it's a real person and it doesn't look like I'm just like making up random bids from Facebook, you know? So John Smith just came in at 200 on Facebook, you know, who's next or something. And you just go back and forth as bids come in those 2 places. And then actions at the end. Before an auction ends, I like to message everyone an hour before to give them the heads up, because people forget. So if somebody's like, hey, I message them, thank you so much for your bid. I really appreciate you participating. I just want to let you know there's an hour left and the high bid is at $500 right now. And then sniping is really common on online auctions. That's where people will wait until like seconds before it ends and then make a bid real quick and then try to prevent somebody else from getting in based on timing. So what I'll do at the end is say, okay, last bid just came in, last call, going once, going twice, going 3 times, maybe for that 15 minutes after the auction ends. That's like the last call period where I just confirm that there's nobody else that wanted to counter that offer and nobody shut out just because of the time restriction. I want to look at the comments here. Does anybody, Gage, I'll definitely get to that. That's a whole another subject, but I'm happy to answer that question as well. Does anybody have any specific comments about the promotions that I've talked about so far? Auctions, raffles, waffles, or giveaways? All right. Contests are a great way to build out your following, but the prize on a contest has to be worth it for people to participate in competing. High value prize to incentivize. And you also need some kind of voting system of how did their votes count? If people are going to this post to vote for them, how do you go about calculating that? I've used a poll in my group before, and this is just an example of a contest that we did, and we got over 1,000 new group members from this because I had 2 people that really wanted this original and they invited everybody they knew. And I try to ask people too for like qualified, invite people that would want to be here. I don't want like a bunch of randos in my group that don't even care about art because they're just going to leave anyway. But you can specify, definitely read the specifics on the back end of this contest because it was very successful for us. And we had an official contest post. People could enter their name, just like when you have an open poll, people can comment, like create an answer. So they were like creating their name and then they told other people to join the group and to vote for them by clicking their name on the poll. Definitely a great way to get shares and tags and just get awareness out. When people are trying to win something, they're going to call upon their friends and family like, I really want this original. Please join the Anamorphosis Art group and vote for me on the official page or post. And I always have that post pinned up to the top of the group. All right, moving on to planned merchandise drops. Pre-sale, that's when you're selling an item for a limited amount of time before it's produced. And this we talked about before. It's going to allow you to gauge the demand, like how many people even want this. Also to order only what you need if you're not using drop shipping. It adds value to the product because it's not something people can get all the time. It's only going to be available through this window. And then also motivates the purchase decision. Like if I don't do it now, it's not going to be available later. So pre-sale is a great way to release a new merchandise item that you're trying to just feel out or that you may not have a lot of funds to invest in. Print on demand is another great way to fulfill those because then you don't have to do any of the shipping yourself. You can know exactly how many you're going to order and then you can send those out. Have them sent out, excuse me. Limited edition creates a set number of products. This increases the collectability and it adds value because of the supply and the demand. You're limiting the supply, and especially if you have a greater demand, it helps build value in those products. I do a combination of both. of open edition and limited edition. Open edition is when you give everyone the opportunity to own your art, and it allows for long-term sales. I have some classics that people still to this day purchase, and I'm glad that I never made them limited edition. I also realized that I could do specific items, like types of products that are limited edition, and keep like an open edition print, for example, but then do a limited edition canvas print or something. So that kind of gives both options. And I've seen a lot of my fellow artists utilize the limited edition to create a whole aftermarket. I definitely encourage everyone here to check out Haya AV. I'll post a link to her group in the back end as well. But she's somebody that started making pins, and she does a set number of pins. Let's say that there's 300 total available. She'll have 5,000 people waiting on her Spotify for that drop, which she's promoted well in advance. And the second they go live, they're gone. And it's like crazy how many people want these pins. But then she knows that because the demand is so high that people would just get them to turn around and flip them. And she wants to discourage that so that people that really appreciate the art can own it. So there's this rule that you can't sell it until after 60 days after it was dropped. So there's just ways. It's so interesting to look at these other artists, check out their markets, see how it is that they're monetizing their craft and creating this marketplace around their products, and then how people buy and sell and trade after the fact. It's incredible what she's done. Check the chat. Yeah, Stella, limited editions can be an investment for the buyer. And whether, like I just said, like her pins will sell for $35 online, but then the second they're sold out, the value could go up to $350 for this little enamel pin. And her highest selling pin was over $2,000 for a hat pin. So it did not like take that long for her to develop this following. She has a really unique style. And once she hit the niche and other people started talking about it, and then the other people start realizing how popular it is, they want to get into it as well. And it's just incredible to see everything that she's making, how she's conducting her drops. Totally somebody that you should check out.
Art in Session is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to provide professional and educational opportunities to creatives. Thanks to support from our listeners, we are able to keep this mission going. If you are enjoying this podcast, please consider donating at www.artinsession.org.
Okay, I'm going to finish up this section with some pro tips about selling art. Hopefully, even if these are promos that you guys know about, it's stimulating some new thought about how you can apply it, how you can be releasing monthly promotions, because I think doing any one of these things on a regular basis guarantees you funds coming in that you wouldn't have had otherwise, and I utilize merch that's already sitting around, like old canvas prints that never sold, or even sometimes originals that I just want to find a home already, and I have gotten way more than I even expected out of something like an auction, as I mentioned. So always be confident in your pricing when it comes to selling art. I know that's hard for a lot of artists that just really aren't sure, but that's why doing things like auctions can help the market dictate and then give you an idea what people are willing to pay for your art. So I've utilized that information like, wow, I did this auction. This is about what the going price was. And now I can say that I've sold a painting for this amount and be confident in pricing the next one in a similar range. As we mentioned before, you want to hit those multiple price points. Having something for everybody is really important. I like to price high and leave room to negotiate, especially with originals. I'm going to give you a couple examples of that. But if you already come in at your lowest bottom line and then people make an offer after that, you have to say no, whereas it's so much, you can't go back up. It's easier to start high and then come down. I am super open to offers or payment plans because I do price a little high. Then I say, I'm asking this, but you can make an offer. And then payment plans have made my art accessible to people that could otherwise not afford them. The way that I've done payment plans is through setting up a payment schedule, which I'll briefly talk about, or utilizing PayPal, which has a payment option for people to make payments and holds them accountable without me having to remind them. always put everything in writing for all of these negotiations. Again, I cannot emphasize that enough, how many times I've had to revert back to a conversation to be able to clarify a point down the line. And I was so happy I had that record of correspondence, because it takes out all of the uncomfortable ambiguity that can come with conversations, because it's in writing and we can know exactly what was said. And I always keep a payment schedule. I just know when people have paid or when their next due date is. I'll send them that recap right at the beginning of our negotiations. Like, okay, you're going to put down 20% of the overall amount, and then you're going to make payments over the next 5 months of this amount by this date each month. So again, it's in writing. I'll remind them if I have to, but at least I have that payment schedule. Before we move on to wholesale, does anybody have any questions about the plan drops or any of the points that we've made here? All right.
Yeah, so wholesaling is not necessarily related to social media, but I wanted to include it here just to kind of get the gears turning. And also, like, I found most of these opportunities through the internet, so it's still relevant. Things like stickers, prints, apparels, and other merch can be sold wholesale. So there's gift shops and other, stores that are always looking for artists to carry their stuff. So this is an example of an image by my friend Sarah. She goes by Point Blank Art. I know this image specifically has been licensed a lot. This is Johnny Cash. She sold a bunch to Johnny Cash Museum and other like rock and roll museums, stuff like that. So always think about what type of gift shops might be aligned with your work. I know someone else that supplies like National Forest gift shops. She does a lot of like landscapes and stuff of different areas and different parks. So yeah, try to start to think of like how you can make larger sales quicker. Create a catalog with what's available and the pricing and the different price tiers. So if you only, are only selling 20 or 30, it might be more expensive. And if you're selling 1,000 plus, you might lower the price. And that'll all depend on, how much you can get it for. So you definitely want to make sure you still have a profit, but you can go down on the price if they buy more prints. What is the minimum order? Decide on that. So you can offer a wholesale. And then email the places that you think would be a good fit for your work. Announce on your socials when you're releasing new products that wholesale is available, that people can email you or message you to receive the catalog. And also there's a website, if you click one more time, there's a website that's kind of like Etsy for wholesaling. It's called fair.com. So you can list your products and basically create your own shop and show what's available, and people that are looking for wholesale opportunities, they're shopping on there. So instead of, making a one-off sale on Etsy, you can be selling thousands of copies, and those people will probably come back when they want to restock.
Absolutely.
I've had some experience. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I've had a lot of experience wholesaling my stoner coloring books to dispensaries everywhere. And especially people that I've known in person, they would always like buy in bulk. And anytime I'm like, I need money, I'm like, I'll just hit them up, and they always want to restock. So wholesaling is definitely not something people talk about a lot, but it's a really great opportunity to get, like steady paychecks.
Totally. I put together wholesale packs where they could choose 10 prints for $10 each. And then they can sell them. I sell them for 25 each online. So that's a good deal for them. I sell them for 15 in person, so it gives them kind of some, like a margin to work with if they wanted to run sales. But I try to think about like, everybody's going to want to double up on their money. So if I'm selling it for $7 to $10, that gives them some room to be able to sell it for more. And then also it just makes it easier. I have a lot of prints to choose from. So sometimes I'll be like, if I know that it's a store with a certain type of theme or something, I may say like, choose from the X amount of prints, but having just some packages that they could do 10 for 10 or something like that. And then the other thing is to keep in mind, like, I try to sell them the system as well. So it'll come with a print book that has the 10 prints that they chose. And also like all the prints divided and numbered, and they match the numbers in the book. So if somebody goes into the dispensary, for example, and they want print number 5, then the salesperson just has to go to the box and go to number 5 and pull out that print. And it's really easy without them really having to know a lot about the art to be able to resell it. So just something to think about is pre-packaging and how to come up with a system that you could sell as well to make it as easy as possible for them to move the merchandise.
That's a really great idea. And another tip for pricing for wholesale. So a general rule to go off of, something that costs you, let's say if a print costs you $3 to produce, your minimum wholesale price would be $6, and then your retail price would be, $12 and up. So you're always like adding on the 50%, and that's just kind of like a general rule to go by, but obviously you can be flexible. Like even with my wholesale, I'll only do that bare minimum, like the 50% markup, only if it's like my maximum amount, like 100 copies plus. But for someone that maybe wants to buy like 20 or 50 or something, then I'll still put on a little bit more. It might be at like $7 or $8 each.
Awesome. I've got some examples.
We can move on.
Okay, yeah, I've got some examples here about just selling art and like what that conversation looks like. I encourage all of you to go through them on the back end and just see like how Chris and I have been really comfortable selling our paintings and setting up things like payment plans and how to go about arranging like what that looks like. I'm usually pretty flexible when it comes to payment plans. Like, let me know what would work for you, and then I could work with them. But as a general rule, I always take 20% down at least. Here's a couple of examples. This one here of somebody that said they wanted this painting. I gave him some background before I hit him with the $5,000 price tag. I just mentioned that, Chris and I aren't painting as much together. These paintings have become a lot more limited. This one is 34 by, it was actually 46. Told them what we were asking, and I also said we're happy to offer a payment plan or even consider an offer. I don't do payment plans and offer. You can't offer me less and extend it out, but you can do one or the other. And they offered us $4,000, and I was like, yep, we'd be happy for you to take it. This is a collector, and because I went a little high on that price, I knew that like 4 might be my bottom line, but I had that wiggle room, and then he felt like we gave him a deal since he's a collector, and it worked out for me. Again, another example of payments and just how to go about facilitating that conversation. And I encourage you all to find your voice as far as this goes. That goes back to being like confident, and then just having a plan of what your policies are and your terms, your terms, so that it's consistent for everyone. And then it makes them feel comfortable, like, oh, you're not just making this up as you go. When you say things like, yeah, I usually take, because people ask you, what kind of percentage do you take? What do you need? And this is a really good one of just like back and forth of somebody expressing their needs, and I was able to work with them. So don't want to spend too much time here going into this, but I would like you guys to take a look on the back end and then message me anytime. I have a zillion examples of conversations in my DMs selling art on social media. So one other point I want to make here is the last message. I'm like, again, so just to recap, and then I told them what the price was that we agreed, what it was that they were going to be getting. You want to always specify things like shipping. Is shipping included in that price? If not, what are they looking to spend on shipping after the fact? Just making sure you cover all of your bases. And by being able to go through these messages, things are going to occur to you that you didn't even know to ask, right? So I hope that is helpful. Deals and discounts. I don't like to wheel a deal. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
You sure?
Yay.
So deals and discounts. This is not a garage sale. I'm not trying to always haggle with people, but at the same time, everyone loves to like have some savings once in a while, and you can utilize special events like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, holidays, Christmas in July. You know, there's so many different ways to like tap into the sales. And then, so you're driving traffic back to your website through those sales from social media. You may be generating additional sales that you wouldn't have had otherwise, because there's some people that like maybe were on the fence, but because it's on sale, they'll do it. I like to use this to incentivize joining my network. So sign up for my mailing list and I'll send you 20% off 2 or more prints. I like doing mystery print packs because at the end of festivals, I'll end up with a bunch of random prints left. And then people, I'll like show them the 5 that it could be, and then be like, I'm going to send you 2 of these. Don't know which one, you know, and they like the surprise. It saves me from having to like package specific orders for specific people. I just know that I've got 10 print packs, mystery print packs to fill, and I can at that time pick any 2 out of my pile that I want to. And again, just incentivizing whatever it is that you're trying to build out is really helpful with the deals and the discounts. Did you have anything to add, Domé?
I was just thinking about the shipping part, because a lot of times also paintings that are like as large as that one behind me, I will ship it rolled in a tube off of the stretcher. So that's something that also you want to establish ahead of time, knowing that you'll have an additional cost, you know, getting it restretched as well.
That's a really good point. I sell 80% of my originals unstretched, mainly because I paint them unstretched at events. I clamp them around stretcher bars, so there's no staples, and then I take the clamps off and roll them up. Doing it that way live at shows has helped me to be able to sell them on the spot, because I do a lot of really large paintings that people wouldn't be able to fit in their car otherwise, or they say, oh, I can't buy this, I can't get it home safely. And I just say, yes, you can, it can roll them up. I tend to sell my unstretched for a little bit less than my stretch paintings for exactly that reason. There's going to be this additional cost, but I always let them know that they can go to a custom framer. There's always places like Michael's and Hobby Lobby that offer custom framing deals, and just give people options. But my selling points, because for that is like, although they have to have that additional step once they receive it, it's way safer and cheaper to send an unstretched canvas, especially when you start getting into bigger than 18 by 24. Having it unstretched makes a whole lot of sense. So I'm glad you brought that up.
All right, getting to the reels. So just some general tips. Again, in order to get paid for reels, it can't have any watermarks other than, you know, your own name, but not from like other apps and stuff. You can't get paid for the same video on both Facebook and Instagram, but you can on all other platforms. You can still post it and get the views and the reach, but you won't be able to monetize the same video on both of those, because it's essentially the same it's the same company now, so they'll know. Don't violate any copyrights, or else you get that privilege taken away. And no community guideline violations in the last 30 days is for most of the apps is what is required in order to be able to monetize. So let's go into Instagram. So for now on Instagram is by invite only for creators with less than 1 million followers. If you are invited, you will receive a pop-up notification and an invite that appears on your professional dashboard. You need to have a reel with 1,000 views in the past 30 days in order to receive this invitation. So you want to keep posting whether or not you're enrolled in the program. And once you do get enrolled in the Reels Play bonus, you want to make sure that you activate this in your dashboard, and you do so by like connecting your bank account and adding your social security number, because if you don't do the step, then you won't get paid for those reels, but they will tell you how much money you missed out on at the end of the month. So, and these programs are always changing, so you want to take an opportunity as soon as possible. And to get invited, you have to have either a business or a creator account on Instagram. And there's more rules, and I've included the link in the back end as well. Right. You can add your EIN if you have an LLC. That's definitely better if you have a registered business. Is there anything else to do to get invited besides the views? No, not that I know of. And people with very low followers get invited too. So it's also not even based on your followers. There is something to do for Facebook, and we'll cover that in just a minute. So you go to the professional dashboard, which is at the top of your profile if you already have a business or a creator account. And I recommend doing this just to double check, because sometimes it's possible that maybe you missed the pop-up. It can happen quickly. If you press something else, it'll go away. So once you press the dashboard and scroll all the way down, yeah, go ahead. When you scroll all the way down, this is the bottom of the page, you will see the bonuses. And also I wanted to include this bottom of the page because you can see Instagram actually offers videos on tips on how to succeed on the platform. So there's like Reels 101, algorithm truths and tips, and etc. So I highly recommend diving into this deeper. But once you click on the bonuses, this is what it would look like if you had received the invitation. Literally just renewed it, because every single month you have to renew it. So it's like it restarts. And yeah, once you've been participating, sometimes it might be a week or two where you're not getting it, but it will re-pop up. And so here, the maximum bonus is $1,200. And you have 1 month to complete it, and only 150 reels can count towards this. And personally, I don't really post any more or less than I would if I was not enrolled. To me, I'm just promoting it. I'm not going out of my way to create more. Yeah, go ahead. You can click the next one. So to me, it's literally just getting free money to promote my art. Once you do get started, this is what it looks like. It shows you how much you've earned so far this month. So the maximum views, it would have to be 11 million views in order to receive the maximum bonus, which I probably won't hit, but you never know, some videos really go viral. One tip about this is like your very first reels in the beginning of signing up for this will earn a lot more than the later ones. So like my first 5 reels I'll make over $100, and then the ones after that will just give me pennies regardless of how many views it gets. So that's something to think of. Like when you first get on the sign up for the bonus, you want to make sure that you are posting the reels that you feel are going to get the most views. The shorter ones, more interesting ones, to maximize the amount of money that you can make from this. And then the last slide is just showing my payouts from the past few months, which, it's not very much, but once you get it from all the different platforms, like it still adds up, and you can reinvest all of that into your business. And like I said, I'd be doing this whether or not they're paying me. So it's definitely an amazing thing to take advantage of. So for Facebook to qualify for the bonus, you want to post the reels on your artist page, not your personal profile. And the qualifications are the same, 1,000 views in the past 30 days. So you want to keep already posting. There is an opportunity to sign up for this. I just found that. And actually, as I was researching that, I ended up in the Facebook Creator Studio. And I found out that there's 2 other ways to monetize this platform right now. Facebook is introducing something called stars, which is basically you get 1 penny for the stars that people send you, which is the same thing as when people heart things. So you can do that on your live streams, and you can do that on your videos. And I just signed up for that as well. I haven't used it, but as I mentioned a few times before, like you want to jump on these new things quickly, because most of us haven't heard of it yet, but a year from now everyone's going to be trying to do this and compete. So if you sign up for this now, you can get a head start and already know how it works long before most people are on it. So stars and paid online events is another thing that they're now introducing, where basically you can do, whether it's a Q&A or a live class or whatever, it's just a paid online event where people have to pay to attend your live stream. And Facebook Creator Studio is amazing to manage the monetizations. I included all the links. I don't know if it works on the phone. I was doing this on the desktop, and I'll show you let's keep moving. I'll show you a couple screens of what it looks like. And that makes it really easy to keep track. And it actually tells you and explains everything really well. So this is your Facebook dashboard, like the app on the phone, but it has to be on the app, not on like the browser. And if you click, basically at the top, it shows where you switch between your personal profile and your art profile. You want to make sure you're on your art profile and not your personal one. For the longest time, I couldn't find this professional dashboard because it only shows up for your page and not your personal account. And once you click the professional dashboard, it takes you to the next page. And this is where you can access your Reels bonuses. So this is mine from this month. And as you can see, the maximum amount that you can earn right now is $34,000, but it doesn't say for how many views. However, it does give you these challenges that you can complete, and it gives you extra money for reaching these goals. If you click, it'll show you the next screen, what that looks like. But personally, like all of these views were just from this one. This is from like 3 or 4 videos that I posted. I've already earned $34, but majority of that came from just this one video that you can see at the very top. It has 33,000 views, just revealing my painting. And then this is the bonuses. So you get 5 reels with 100 plays each, and you get an extra $20. And then now I'm in the middle of creating 10 reels with 500 plays each, and it gives you an extra $100. So it kind of just gives you this fun little goal to aim for. And yeah, the reels, some of the reels that were successful on other platforms are not so much on Facebook, and vice versa. So you can never tell. I don't know if it's my posting time or what it is. Maybe it's a different sound that I used, because I usually try to switch up the songs. But this is what it would look like on the back end once you do sign up for the Facebook Reels program. Okay, move on to the next one. It'll show you this is the Creator Studio from the desktop version. So when I hopped on here, it says you have new monetization tools that need to be set up, and I had no idea. On the left-hand side, you can see where towards the bottom, it says inbox and then monetization. So this will show you what monetization tools are available if you're already signed up for the bonus program. Click the screen one more time and it will show you what popped up for me. This is how I found out about the STARS program and also the paid online events. You also have to apply for these, but I got approved within 24 hours. So yeah, I'm just inviting you to go check this out and see if these bonuses are available to you. Like I said, I did include the link where you can sign up for the bonus and to the Creator Studio. Yeah, the hashtags pretty much apply the same way. You want to consider how many posts there are, and you want to do them, you know, specific, not too broad and not too specific. So kind of finding that middle ground. And then let's touch on the brand collaborations. We talked about this a little bit last week, but there's different ways to collaborate with brands. If you want to keep tapping, it'll tell you what I wrote, but it's definitely not an extensive list. There's so many different ways to collaborate with brands that you might not even think of. So try to come up with your own ways of collaborations that might be suitable. So you could do paid posts, whether it's a one-off post or a long-term contract. UGC is user-generated content, and you don't need to have any followers in order to do this. When you see ads coming up of people showing off, an outfit or a product that they bought, and that's user-generated content where people are just showing off or unboxing something. This stuff gets posted on the brand page, and they use it in advertisement. You don't have to post it to your own stuff. Licensing is also another pretty lucrative opportunity because, corporations have a lot more money to spend than individuals. This is a collaboration that my friend Rochelle did with Trust Me Vodka, where they put her artwork on the vodka bottles. I know they've collaborated with a few other artists as well. Affiliate marketing is another opportunity. Basically, the brand will give you a link to promote, and a portion of the sales that come through your promotions, you will get paid out. And like Dahlia Raz was talking about a collaboration she did with Bomb Pop, where basically she was just passing out the popsicles, but she was like wearing, you know, clothes that she made with the artwork that she made. So she was still like being her own person and just promoting this product, but also promoting her artwork. And she, you know, went to New York just to engage people. So that's something like a unique way to collaborate with someone that you'd never think of. So some collaborations that can be short term where you just do 1 or 2 or 3 posts, and then others are long term where you might have like a year-long contract with a brand where you're, you know, putting their products in your live streams or the content that you create, and you'll have a certain amount of agreements of like how many posts you have to do, what time, what other brands you can work with, et cetera, et cetera. Like you always want to negotiate your contracts. Like don't just take the first offer. Where to find the brand deals, CJ Affiliate seems to be the most popular website. It's just cj.com that connects you with the brands. Creatively app is an app that is also really good, and they do actually have a lot of jobs there for like creatives, people that are looking for content creators, graphic design, product design, stuff like that. You can, you know, find jobs for big brands. And you can also email brands directly, like stuff that is aligned with you and you know you want to work with this brand, you use their product every single day. It doesn't hurt to reach out. Peer professional, let them know why you're so enthusiastic about it, and see if you can build a relationship. You don't need a lot of followers in order to work with brands. Having high engagement and being aligned with the brand is what matters a lot more. I've known people that have done brand deals with less than 1,000 followers. So definitely don't be discouraged. All that matters is that like it really works, that, you know, you're both suited for each other. You can create mock-ups or sample content to send of what you can do for them. I meant mock-ups if you're trying to do product design or like murals or something like that. You can show people ahead of time of what you can do for them. And sample content also gives people an idea of how you present yourself and your product. So minimum starting rate for sponsored posts is about 10% of your following. So, you know, if you have 10,000 followers, your bare minimum price should be at least $100 for a post. You don't want to price yourself down. It can be a lot higher. I know people make thousands and thousands of dollars for just one post. And I included a really good YouTube video for how to get brand deals. This woman got signed to a 1-year-long contract with like an energy drink. So all her live streams and videos that she posts, she just has that drink next to her. They're sending her free product every single month, and they literally pay her more than all of her living expenses. So she can literally just create art, show up on the internet, be sipping on this drink, and her bills are paid. So it's a really good opportunity. I've done a few collaborations, just like one-off posts. I'm doing one right now with an art supply company. It's called Hippie Crafter, where I'm just doing a couple posts for them, and they just sent me free product. I do get a lot of these emailed to me as well, and I'm not interested in most of them. So also be really selective. Make sure that it works with you. You don't want to just like, you know, become an advertiser, because at the end of the day, you're doing all of this work to build up this brand, to build up this audience, and people see that that's valuable. So they want your viewers, but you also want to respect your viewers and know that you are, you know, promoting your own products and only work with brands that really align with you and benefit you. Because a lot of times, you know, if you're just selling new stuff that really doesn't make sense for your brand in every single post, people will start to unfollow you. And I mean, it's a personal choice, but definitely like be really mindful.
Yeah, I agree. I think the best part about collaborating. Oh, sorry. I think, Domé, we've got like a massive delay or something in between us. I've been like clicking before, but you're not seeing them. I was just going to say the fact that you get to like choose who it is that you want to work with. I only work with people in general, any kind of collaboration with things that are in line with my values. And
represent me, because long term, it's about so much more than just the money you're going to make. It's about the message that we're spreading and what these people stand for. So being very selective in any collaboration, I think, is key.
Yes. So someone asked, can one copyright violation disqualify you from any future compensation? Copyrights are pretty serious. I've definitely used some music that were copyright violated, and they just took it down. Like, they just removed the sound, and then I usually I'll archive the post. And that didn't seem to affect it very much. So if it's continuous, they will. But a lot of times, if you get 3 violations for anything, not just copyrights, but community guideline violations, they'll give you just they'll put you in timeout for a month or 2, sometimes 90 days before you can get future compensation. So there's definitely some leniency there.
Art in Session is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to provide professional and educational opportunities to creatives. Thanks to support from our listeners, we are able to keep this mission going. If you are enjoying this podcast, please consider donating at www.artinsession.org.